Hey Dee, did you enjoy Houseplant Appreciation Day yesterday?
I mean, if you consider that I put a bunch of my deadish house plants out of their misery, sure.
Yeah, because January 10th, was Houseplant Appreciation Day. I did not know. I had no celebrations planned.
I mean, burial. That's what happened here.
So, and also this past Friday, the second Friday of January is also National Quitters Day.
Yes. What are we going to quit?
Nothing. We're going to get this podcast started.
Okay. Welcome to the Garden Angelist, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I am Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I still have a large garden out in the country.
And I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre.
We are Garden Angelists because we love gardening and we would like you to love it too.
Yes, we do love gardening, and we aren't afraid to spill the beans. All of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode. Good afternoon, Dee.
Good afternoon, Carol. We're recording this on a Sunday the 11th. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yes. Okay. So it's the end of the Christmas season for Catholics.
It is. And I
Today
will give my
was-
garden update, which started off, and I actually took them down on the 5th, which is as late as I left them. I took down all my Christmas lights. And then on Tuesday, landscape guy came and looked over my projects that I have in mind. I have 3 big projects for
Yeah,
him.
you do. Uh-huh.
He gave me an estimate, and then I approved the estimate, and I will be his first customer of the spring.
That's awesome.
So
That's exciting.
it is very exciting.
It really is.
So he's going to straighten out the beds in the vegetable garden cathedral and put down a really good landscape fabric in the paths, and we're going to put down a good mulch in the paths. And then I have a path that snakes through this other garden, and he's going to just straighten that a little bit, put down the fabric, and we're going to put a haydite rock in there. And then he's going to edge all the beds in the back nice and sharp. And we're going to have it all done by Easter for the big egg hunt.
That is so exciting. I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you. And then I took myself to Menards, bought seeds. Yeah. So that was really nice. I've got them all listed on a spreadsheet, also listed all my old seeds. And I'm like, I have duplicates of some of these. And I'm like, why don't I have more pepper seeds? So anyway, I got to ponder that list. We'll talk about that later. Got all the houseplants watered, kept up with my microgreen farm. It's well tended, I must say. And yeah, I went to a bookstore and bought a couple of books. But yeah, I've been out and about.
You have been.
What'd you do this past week, Dee, in your garden?
I turned off my Christmas lights. I walked around the garden and I did some thinking. That's what I did. I just thought. I thought about my garden. And then I've been waking up a lot at night, in the middle of the night. And so when I do, I either pray a rosary or I lay there and think about my garden and what I want to do in the spring. So I'm in the midst of garden planning. That's what I'm doing. And then I got rid of the half-dead houseplants that no longer spark joy, and that's okay. And I watered the remainder. And there was something else I did too, but I went on a nice garden walk. I went on several, like up and down my neighborhood. And then I met my girlfriend for lunch, and she gave me a painting. And here's how it relates to gardening. It is an abstract. It's my friend Jennifer, who owns Ladybug Lane Flowers. And you guys should buy a CSA from her because she's amazing. And
if you live in the Oklahoma City area, I doubt she wants to ship to Indiana.
Right. If you live in this area. And so we went to lunch, and the reason we did is she gave me a painting for Christmas. And it's an abstract painting of trees on a gold background. I actually have a picture of it, so I'll send it.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty. Very abstract, very beautiful, very peaceful. Okay, and that's what I did.
That's pretty good.
That's as good as it gets in the winter.
Yeah. But let's play favorites. So, Dee, mine is on repeat. It's snowdrops again. They're still blooming out there. And I noticed that next to the one clump I have, there's a new clump coming up. And out in front where I planted some this fall, I'm starting to see little bits of them coming up. And in the garage where I have a little pot of ones that I'm trying to force, they're getting almost big enough that I might start bringing them inside. It is Snowdrop City around here.
Just love that. I love everything about the update. I wish I could do
Thank you.
snowdrops. You're so welcome. Okay, at my house, it's the white amaryllises that just bloomed. You know?
I saw those on Instagram.
They're
Beautiful,
pretty, aren't they? Yeah, we'll put it in the newsletter too.
Yes, because you put them in those blue and white pot, and it just made them pop.
Yeah, I'm all about that cobalt blue and white.
Yeah, that cobalt blue, that's your color, Dee.
It is my color. All right, our question of the week. One of our listeners, Kim, what?
Go ahead.
Can I do it?
You can.
I'm not ahead of myself for a change?
If I don't interrupt you, you can.
Okay. One of our listeners, Kim, asked, Rabbit Trail here, would you ladies ever do a segment or an entire program on U.S. places to travel for garden tours? And she said, hubby and I would love to do that this spring, but we're not sure where to go. And you said?
Well, I said 3 things related to this.
Mm-hmm.
One, we could do a segment on gardens we've visited, and you've visited far more than I have, but I've visited quite a few when I start to list them.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to think about all the ones we've been to.
Yes.
So many.
For you, especially. And then I would suggest joining the American Horticultural Society because with your membership card, you get free entry into a lot of public gardens in the United States. So that is a great savings. Plus, you get a great magazine every other month, all about gardening. And then serendipitously, or the phone was watching and listening, YouTube served up a video of Monty Don, who talks about 5 gardens he recommends visiting. And I watched it. There's a garden, of course, in England. There's one in France. There's one in
Spain,
Japan.
Right. And the other one,
Italy, Japan, France, England. Can't remember where the other one was.
Spain. Because he has that whole series on Spain, and he loves Spain, and he loves Moorish gardens. So
yes, so he had some recommendations. None of them were in the United States, believe it or not.
He also has a whole video series of gardens he visited in the U.S. I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing he ever did.
It's kind of. I don't think he hit the high points.
Yeah, and I thought he was a little critical and a little snobby. And I love Monty. You know I do, but
well, I don't think Monty maybe understood how different the climate is in, say, Maine, New Mexico, Washington State, Florida, the deserts of Arizona, California is all over the map. All right, with all that, do you got anything else?
Yeah, I think we could talk about gardens we have visited. And I think one of the favorite, I have several favorites. We'll have to sit down and think about it, though. I think that would be the best way to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll sit down and think about it. I know what we'll do. Our Do Not Care segment, we'll knock that thing out. We do not care that you don't know about what we don't care about. We'll add gardens in there.
Okay, that would be great.
All right. Insect of the week. This is the one I came up with last week, Dee.
Yeah, we talked about it. So dragonflies, and you found some really great info on dragonflies. They're amazing.
They are amazing. I found out several facts. First of all, they're among the oldest flying insects in the earth, not in age, but fossil records go back, they said, 300 million years. And their prehistoric ancestors had wingspans of 2.5 feet. Now, I don't know about you, but if I saw
like that very much.
Dragonfly coming at me with a 2.5 foot wingspan, I'd be hitting the ground and duck cover, or I'd be running inside.
I mean, everything. I'm glad I didn't live in prehistoric times. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Then they're one of the best flying insects. Then they can hover, they can fly backwards, they can make 90-degree turns at full speed. And it says that each of their wings, they have 4 wings, they operate independently, which, so I suppose if you're into aviation, you ought to study how dragonfly wings work and maybe improve like flying machines. Listen to me like I'm from the early 1900s. You can improve your flying machines if you just looked at how the dragonfly does it. I'm sorry, Dee. It just came out. Get yourself controlled back.
Trying to. Okay, and they're really good at seeing. They have compound eyes, and they have up to 30,000 individual lenses, which gives them 360-degree vision, and they can see colors that we can't, including ultraviolet light, which helps them hunt and navigate. And here, I'm going to insert something. As a beekeeper, they don't like dragonflies very much because when the queen goes to do her mating flight, the virgin queen, they often get caught by dragonflies. They wait and watch for stuff like that because she's a little slow. She's a girl.
She's
big, and so she gets a little slow. Okay. And then they're garden allies for us.
Yes, because according to the sources that I looked at, they can eat hundreds of mosquitoes in a day, along with gnats, flies, and other pesky things.
Yep.
They have a 95% hunting rate. So very
That's
good predators.
pretty impressive, right? So
Yes.
they do really well. And they spend most of their lives as aquatic nymphs, and which is why I have tons of them around our pond that is by the front of the house. And I have tons of them because of the pond in the back.
Yes. And then it says that they spend up to several years as nymphs in water before they emerge as the adult. And as an adult, they only live a few weeks to a few months.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Cool. All right. If you want to encourage them, have a water feature.
Yes. Now, remember, and we talked about this on the podcast a while back, but fishermen and people, they will clip a fake dragonfly to their hat, like on a wire, and it supposedly keeps away flying mosquitoes and gnats and things because they think, that's a
real dragonfly getting ready to get them.
So I'm getting
in my garden, they love the daylilies when they're finished. They sit on those big stems, which we call scapes. And they sit on those big stems and they patrol the yard. You patrol the garden. You can see them doing it. So I always leave some dead ones for them to stand on.
Now, I don't have a water source in my garden, but the next block over, those people have a pond behind them. Yeah. And so I think from that pond, they'll come over this way.
I think so too.
And I'll see them. So anyway, that was dragonflies, which I learned a lot more about them. And
that's really cool. I didn't know all of that.
Yes.
All right. You want to do the next quote?
It's the first quote, and I will do it.
But it's next also.
For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. And to make an end is to make a beginning. T.S. Eliot.
I love that quote. A lot of our quotes this week for our listeners, a lot of it has to do with beginnings and endings and New Year's.
Exactly.
We're in a new year. So for our flower, 2026 is the year of the azalea, according to the National Garden Bureau. And I hate azaleas, not in other people's gardens. Totally cool with them. I hate going to garden coaching deals where people have azaleas in Oklahoma because most places in Oklahoma, it's hard to grow them here. We don't have acidic soil.
Yes, and that is the main thing about azaleas is they need an acidic soil. And the one source I looked up said a pH of 4.5 to 6. And I don't know what my pH is, but I know it's north of 6.
Yeah, it's very, very acidic. And they suggest if you're going to grow them here, that you grow them either in pecan holes or in peat moss. And you have to have excellent drainage too, which most places in Oklahoma do not have excellent drainage. I do because I'm in the sandy part, but most places don't.
Yeah, and they like dappled shade or morning sun with afternoon shade. Yeah. Too much direct sun will scorch their leaves, and too much shade will reduce their flowering. So they kind of have to have that spot. And you mostly find them, especially in the wild or in botanical gardens that specialize. The azaleas are on the edge of the woods.
Now, yes, and that's kind of their native spot if you were going to find them.
That is.
In Muskogee, they have a place called Honor Heights Park, and it's a giant azalea fest. And it is absolutely splendid and beautiful during that 2-week period of the year where the azaleas bloom. And this started a long time ago, and there's several problems with it. A lot of times they get ice storms that ruin the bloom before it happens. But if it's the right year, the right time, it is glorious. I've been there, actually.
Yes. And speaking of that, there's a place in southwestern Indiana near the town of Hazleton. There's an azalea path arboretum and botanical garden that I've heard of. I have not toured, but my aunt once sent me a text because she was touring it with some of her friends. When you're touring to go see the azaleas, you kind of have to hit it just right. And so that's where it can be problematic. Magnolia Plantation is another excellent place to see azaleas. Of course, I went there once in July. I think it was into June, July. I've been there twice, I think. And yeah, azaleas aren't in bloom then. They're in bloom in early spring. I think of April.
Yeah. Even here, that's when they bloom.
Yes. So the other thing we should say about azaleas is they bloom on old wood. So you don't want to prune late summer and fall, or you're pruning off all your flower buds. I'll just wrap up by saying, if you want to find out more about azaleas, you need to join the Azaleas Society of America or at least check out their website. And now pause while we wait for Dee. Dee's back, so it's time for that vegetable garden quote.
The birds they sang at the break of day, start again, I heard them say, is from the song Anthem by Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, and start again is what we did with this recording. So
it fits perfectly.
Yes, we couldn't have planned a better quote.
We could have. It's just the universe trying to help us out. All right, vegetables. A challenge for any gardener.
Yes,
how to grow celery.
Celery. So have you attempted celery?
No,
I have. I bought starts from Quartz Yard and Greenhouse.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It went well until I forgot to water them, and then by about July, they're like, "We're done. Goodbye." So I did some looking up, and if you want to try it, there's 3 ways to grow celery or celery-like vegetables. One is to grow celery. 130 to 140 days to required for a long growing season. It needs to be kind of cool. Start seeds 10 to 12 days. It's like a year-long project to grow celery.
And here's the thing. It's Oklahoma where I live, and there's no way you can grow
No.
No, don't even try, people.
And you got to keep them really wet or the stems get really hollow and stringy.
Again.
And so we're really celery is 94% water, it says. So we're going to kind of skip celery. And if any of our listeners is successfully growing celery, do let us know. You are one in a million.
Because you're amazing.
All right. And remember, the reason we're talking about celery is because I had a celery vase article last week.
Mm-hmm.
So in case
we're
people
just going to buy our celery because it's not hard to buy. All right.
Buy organic, by the way.
Yes, buy organic celery because it soaks up a lot of water. And by doing that, it soaks up a lot of yuck. That would be a good way to put it, right? And then you can grow celeriac, which is celery root. And you actually have a link from Seed to Fork, which is a really good website.
Yes. And this one is actually easier to grow, 90 to 120 days. Again, you start seeds inside. They cannot go below 55 degrees Fahrenheit, it said, or they'll be prone to bolting, according to Epic Gardening website.
Okay.
So I am tempted to grow this, but I probably am not going to.
I'm not going to grow that.
No. I do grow celery microgreens occasionally.
I bet those are good. Are they good?
They're very good. They have a very celery taste. They do take quite a bit longer as greens go. And, you can be growing them for, in my case, I let them grow for almost a month before I cut some and used them on a salad. But they're not hard. Now, according to Epic Gardening and others, you're supposed to soak in lukewarm water for 24 hours. I did not do that. I just put the celery seed on the soil and then just kept it misted. Mm-hmm. And eventually they germinate. So it's not hard. And you don't grow them as thickly as you do other microgreens. You can grow them a little bit thinner because they're going to grow a little bit longer, but they're very nutritious. So
great.
Anyway, but we do want to know if any of our listeners grow celery because that is not your starter kit.
No, that would be it'd be impossible here.
Now, have you ever, with kids, they take if you get a big thing of celery and you cut the base off,
the bottom off,
and stick that down in a vase of water or on soil. Have you ever tried that?
No,
me neither. But if you buy one of these things about growing with kitchen scraps or whatever, they always put celery in there that you can. I don't know how much you're going to get, but
or you can just buy celery. I mean, good grief. All right. So, anything else you want to say about celery?
No, I don't. We always struggle to find vegetable gardening topics this time of year. So if people like, hey, I've got a burning vegetable garden question, you might open up a whole new segment for us.
Yeah, a whole new topic for us because it is really hard to talk about vegetable gardening in winter. I think.
Because we're not doing it.
No, we're not doing much gardening at all, just keeping stuff alive. Oh, and I kept stuff alive in the greenhouse. I didn't even mention that. So,
that's
okay.
Good.
So, you want to do the next quote?
She reads books as one would breathe air to fill up and live. Annie Dillard from The Living.
We chose that on the bookshelf book.
Yes. And I have the bookshelf book and I've had this for a while, and you have it on your Kindle now.
I do, and it's one you could read at night.
Yeah, this is How a Robin Drinks, Essays on Urban Nature by Joanna Bruschetto, I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. Could be wrong. But
No, I think
anyway,
that's
it's
right.
essays that celebrate urban nature with keen observation and earthy humor. And one of the essays is about how robins drink. I mean, she said it was an accidental bird bath on her driveway, just a plastic container that would fill up with water. And so she kept it filled up with water, and she could sit on her porch, and there was like a chair that would sort of serve as a blind so they couldn't see her and she could see them. So very neat. Really nice chapter on the tulip tree. I think she goes into schools and does nature things. She's a naturalist, certified naturalist.
Which is
Anyway,
cool. Very cool.
It's very cool.
And her point is that nature doesn't just exist out in the country.
Nope.
Or out in the suburbs, that it's also in the urban environment. And in fact, going back to beekeeping, bees that are kept in an urban environment, like on roofs and stuff, actually have fewer diseases and they have fewer just overall problems. And they think it's partly because very few things in the urban area are done with pesticides. So the urban landscape is full of flowers and lots of other things. And so, of course, there's nature there.
There is. And she's got, it's, when you read through her essays, you think, yeah, of course. Yeah. Why didn't I notice that in that vacant lot? She has instructions if you want to take a little walk, how to go about taking a walk. And you just read this book and you see the things that she observed. And I think it opens up your own mind and eyes to see things a little bit differently when you're looking at nature.
Okay, I have noticed that I know this is off the subject, but I've noticed that my camera is tracking me now, which my camera used to not track me. It must be a new update.
It is a new update. I think it's an update within Zoom, and I think you can turn that off.
Okay, after we get done, I'm probably going to turn it off because it keeps on tilting me and it's very distracting.
Okay. I'll do that. But in the meantime, and we've talked about Doug Tallamy, and he wrote on the back of the book, delightful, engaging, and insightful. Bruschetto's laugh out loud wittiness calls on us to hit the pause button on our hectic lives. Her love of nature is infectious, and with a little luck, it will go viral and infect us all.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Anyway, I picked this up. I want to say I picked this up at Wild Geese Bookshop back in the day.
Probably, yeah.
I probably found that there. And so anyway, I'm glad to have it on my shelf. Like, again, you would need quiet essays sometimes. Here's your book of quiet essays. This is How a Robin Drinks, Essays on Urban Nature by Joanna Bruschetto. We both bought copies. We're happy to have them. And yeah, there you go.
Happy to support an author and naturalist. Yes. Okay, I'll do the next quote. Keep your face always toward the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you. That's by M.B. Whitman. I think that's true.
That is true. That is true.
Have a positive attitude as much as possible.
Exactly.
Right, you found our dirt. It's thermoelasty and chromoplasticity.
Well, actually, it's thermonasty. I've got a misspelling in there. It's thermonasty and chromoplasticity. This is a Substack article written by Ben, I think he pronounces it Probert, who writes at Pin and Trowel, and he also does occasionally write for Garden Rant, I believe. He wrote this really nice article about how plants adapt to cold temperatures, because I think in his neck of the woods, which is in Great Britain somewhere, they're having much colder than normal temperatures. And so he talked about thermonasty is where like leaves curl on rhododendrons, and that happens quite often. They'll just curl under and kind of protect themselves.
Sure.
Which reminds me.
Wouldn't that be the same thing that's on Hamamelis, on witch hazels, where the petals of the flower, which I don't know that they're technically petals, they might be sepals. I'm not doing the botany expert, but you know how they'll expand in the sunshine in the daytime, and as the temperatures cool, they retract. It's one of the coolest things about them.
Yes. And then the other thing he talked about was chromoplasticity, which is like when evergreens turn colors in the wintertime. And so a lot of people that are very into conifers will plant a certain conifer that in the summertime you think green evergreen. But in the wintertime, it's just got some amazing like bronze color, or maybe it's a pinkish rose color or a yellow color, because in response to temperature, it changes colors. And then people that don't know, like the bronze color, they think, oh, my evergreen's dying. It's like, no, that's chromoplasticity.
Yeah. And I suspect that my Arizona cypress I'm looking at outside It's much, much bluer in the winter than it is in the summertime.
Could be.
That's cool.
Anyway, good article, and I will shoot out a link to it in the newsletter and also in the show notes in case anybody is interested in that, because it is the world of plants. It's very fascinating.
It is extremely fascinating. It's endlessly so. All right, quote.
So you gave me a poem to read. I thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Little January tapped at my door today and said, "Put on your winter wraps and come outdoors to play." Little January is always full of fun. Today we coasted down the hill until the set of sun. Little January will stay a month with me, and we will have such jolly times. Just come along and see. Winifred C. Marshall. I do like that. I should embroider that on
pretty.
something. I think it's beautiful. Thank you for finding it.
You're welcome. Rabbit holes. So all I'm going to say about mine is I've been in a cobalt blue rabbit hole, and I've been in one for a week or so, and I'll probably be in one for a little while. I'll share more about it later.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I've probably been down some rabbit holes that I didn't think were rabbit holes worth reporting. But I did write about a new lost lady of garden writing. Her name was Audrey Wynne Hatfield, not of the Hatfield and McCoys. This was a British author. And she lived in a converted chapel, Dee.
That's cool.
And I think post World War II, well before hey, let's find an old church and convert it into a house.
Right. So it was just that she had a chapel, and so she did it.
Right. And in her biography on the back of one of her books, her most famous book is How to Know Your Weeds.
Uh-huh.
But she put that she found it and she melted into it. She never left.
Oh, that's cool.
So this was the first time I profiled a British author, because all the resources that I have, like newspapers.com and ancestry.com, normally they block anything from Great Britain, but there was just enough there that I could figure out birth, death, and what she did in between, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Because during World War II,
mm-hmm.
she raised tomatoes outside for the government.
Cool.
And before she got into gardening, she was a fashion illustrator.
Wow.
So I found a picture that somebody wrote a book about fashion drawings or whatever, fashion art or whatever. And they had a picture she drew for the Vogue magazine back in I think the 20s.
That's really neat.
So anyway, fascinating lady. I went down that rabbit hole. And other than that, I've tried to behave myself all week.
Me too. I've tried, sort of.
All right, garden commission time.
I got my David Austin Rose catalog, and it's just, I haven't even opened it yet. I've been holding on to it and saving it, to open it.
Uh-huh.
I'm dreaming of some roses for a garden.
You go. There you go.
Oh, and I started garden coaching. People have started asking. I've started helping.
Good deal. You are such a helpful person.
For money. I
don't do it
for free. I do a lot of other stuff for free on Instagram and stuff like that.
So I'm going to tend to my houseplants. I've got my seeds all listed. I need to review it and start filling in some gaps. Maybe go to another couple of stores that sell seeds before I place online orders. But I kind of thought, I don't really have anything to winter sow. And now I've got a list a foot long to winter sow. Also might check out a garden group that meets at my local library branch on the third Friday. Since we're recording these on Sundays now, I thought, that third Friday is kind of open, and maybe I'll go check out that gardening group.
Fun.
So we'll see what they're all about. And gonna just try to be a good person. Okay.
Ready for our we do not care. It's my turn.
It's our last one.
It's our last one. I'm going to do it. Okay.
Okay.
We do not care if you think we have more than enough houseplants and seeds. If we see a new houseplant that we want, we will buy it.
Amen, sister. I will wrap us up. Thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure and follow us on Apple Podcasts. That helps us get noticed by others.
And if you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to the podcast a whole day early and links to products we discuss. Plus, you can go over to YouTube and see us in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays. And I actually put on makeup for this because I go to church too. So if you can't wait until Wednesdays, you now have 2 ways to get episodes on Tuesdays.
And if you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout or make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also can have the option of pledging your support on Substack.
Thank you to everyone who's done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
Carol, it was lovely to chat with you and everyone else over the Garden Gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.